You're listening to The Sting, the podcast dedicated entirely to the thrilling adventures of the Green Hornet.
He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies that even the G-men cannot reach, the Green Hornet.
Join your hosts as they take you step by step through the sensational radio series and beyond.
Where you been? Marco said I'd been meeting you here at... What the...
What's the matter, Squadron?
You're wearing a mask. You're the Green Hornet.
Sure I am.
And now, going out to Green Hornet fans across the globe,
There are dozens of us! Dozens!
it's time for The Sting! Hello everybody, all 5 of you who have returned for the second episode of The Sting. Yes, I am sticking with that name, thank you for not asking. I am joined here today by Lucien Dacier, fuck me,
Close
man,
enough.
and Zero.
Hello there.
At least I can pronounce his name. We're still trying to figure out what to do with you. But
Yeah, no, it's just fun watching you try.
yeah, he just likes watching me suffer. That's literally the only reason. So we are back. Last episode we discussed our history with the Green Hornet as a character. We went through what I've considered to be one of the best starting points. I'm going to apologize in advance for the audio here. I noticed there was a lot of background audio that worked its way into the last episode. Unfortunately, there isn't a whole hell of a lot I can do about that. I live in an apartment building, and my neighbors have children, and sometimes they try to make more children, so there will be noises in the background.
And then there was that one motorcycle.
Yep, the motorcycle. Yeah, because that's the other thing. The building's right on the edge of like a main thoroughfare, and it's summertime and the weather's been nice, so motorcycles are going by all the time. So I apologize for that in advance.
I mean, I'm doing this from like inside an extremely echoey room, and you can probably even hear it in my voice right now. So you're in good company.
Yeah, audio quality is all over the place, but we are back. Our plan today is to go through 3 episodes of the Green Hornet radio show. My plan is to do these episodes in chunks, essentially. So each podcast we do 3 episodes of the radio show, working off of the list of episodes that is on Internet Archive, which unfortunately is not complete. It's not all the episodes, but we can get into a little bit of that here in a second. I learned, I think yesterday it was, that I was listening to some other guys talk about this. Apparently we only have about a third of the Green Hornet radio show preserved.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's worse than I thought.
There were a lot. I think there were like around 1,100 episodes, and we've got like 350 or something thereabouts. I don't remember the exact numbers, but that's the ballpark. So yeah, we got around a third of the Green Hornet show in preservation, and
That
that's
we
it.
know of.
Yeah, well, we know exactly how many episodes there were. That's all recorded. So we know the total number of episodes. I don't have the number right in front of me, but we know for a fact how many there were, and we only have so much available for us right now. There may be other recordings out there somewhere that just haven't surfaced. About a third of the show was done before they started recording it and shipping it out, so those episodes are lost media because nobody recorded them at the time. But the scripts still exist for a lot of those in various states of preservation. But the recordings themselves, they only started recording 3 years into the program, and then a lot of those recordings most of those recordings, in fact, haven't survived into the present day. So we actually have a very small sample size of that original radio show.
Yeah, the giveaway is the archive site starts at like episode 234.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's quite a ways in.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have all the episodes from 1939 onwards.
Right.
Out of 1,068 episodes, according to this, from 1936 to 1952. This was on the air for a while.
It was, yeah. It was a very successful, long-running show.
I mean, very recently there was someone who was starting to recreate these episodes, right?
Yes, that's what I wanted to bring up. So our other Green Hornet podcast, the Green Hornet Case Files, who've been at this for a couple years now. They have, a while back, I think before they even started the podcast, they got some local acting talent together, and they did a recreation of one of the lost episodes of the Green Hornet radio show. Took one of those old scripts and went through and acted everything out, did their sound effects, their music cues and everything, and recreated the whole episode from scratch. They've been sitting on it for a few years now, and they got permission from Green Hornet Inc. to publish it, and just yesterday, I think, yesterday for when we're recording this, not when this goes live, but they posted that on their YouTube channel. I'm going to put a link to that in the description here. You guys should definitely go listen to it and give them some feedback on it, because while in the process of talking about this at the end of the episode, they talk about how they're considering, possibly, I believe, with Green Hornet Inc.'s blessing, going through and reviving all of the lost Green Hornet episodes.
That would be quite an undertaking.
It would be, but also they want to do it with like actual voice acting talent, not just people they scrounged up nearby because they would work for peanuts. But they an emphasis on doing it right. It's an exciting prospect, but it's contingent on whether or not there's an audience and a market for it. So I know that this podcast doesn't have a whole lot of reach, but for everybody who's watching, I assume you at least have a passing interest in the Green Hornet. This is a thing about preservation of this radio show. Those physical scripts that still exist are deteriorating, and we're not going to have access to them forever. They haven't been scanned, most of them, so we don't even have access to them digitally. So it could be kind of the last chance to preserve a lot of this stuff before it becomes truly lost forever. I think it's the best shot that a lot of these episodes have at actually being preserved. There's a lot of old radio shows that don't get a chance like this. So if you care about media preservation, or you think the Green Hornet is cool, head on over to the link in the description. Head over there. Tell those guys in the comments that you're interested in hearing more episodes of the original Green Hornet show. So with that being said, I think that, well, for one thing, I'd like to get you guys' thoughts on that before we move on, actually.
Well, I've always been an advocate of media preservation, whether it's regarding movies, radio shows, video games. I just think it's essential to preserve our culture for future generations to know basically who we were, what we valued, and just so that they could connect with their past, their heritage.
Yeah. Also with, stories that aren't crap.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
We're in a bit of a creative dry spell right now.
Yeah. Working on that.
Yep. My feelings are not quite as grandiose as that, but certainly, this series, a lot of people put a lot of work into making it. It would be a shame if it just sort of disappeared. I'm surprised no one scanned these scripts, honestly. It's not that hard.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the earlier days of the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress has, I think, everything that gets written gets a copy in the Library of Congress, and it was put in there long before the days of scanning, long before the days of microfilm even, and so.
And I can tell you, just from my own experience in a museum, I used to volunteer at an air museum, actually, and just tried to scan everything in a small, tiny little library that fills up one room. That could be a nightmare. Imagine doing that to the entire Library of Congress.
Yeah, exactly. The Library of Congress is making an effort to scan a lot of their older documents, but imagine the size of that backlog and how much stuff you have to get through.
It will probably take at least the rest of the 21st century before they get to the stuff that was published yesterday.
Yeah, and the thing is, there are these big fancy machines that can scan a book very quickly in minutes, but you're not going to be able to do that to these scripts because they're in such a they're so old. Like,
They're too fragile.
you can't put it in a machine that rapidly turns pages. It's like that, it will disintegrate. You can't do that. So I think you can, like, maybe there's like a request system or something, but I don't know how all that works. I've never interacted with the Library of Congress. I might have to look into that. But I know that the gentleman who wrote the Green Hornet book, give me a second, I'm going to check his name. I have the book sitting next to me. I should be able to... there we go. Martin Grams, that's his name. Yes, Martin Grams has some of these episode scripts in his own personal collection, and he used them as reference material when writing his book on the Green Hornet, which I do highly recommend. It's basically a complete history of the character from his inception, the radio show, the comic books, the 60s TV show. I think it covers the movie as well. It's basically just like his entire history up until more or less present day. I know he's got a bunch of those scripts scanned. I don't think that he's super eager to just hand them out to whoever asks. I don't know. But I know that's where the Case Files guys got hold of their script that they used to make this recreated episode.
From Martin Grams?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not an invitation to go flooding Martin Grams with emails, by the way. Please don't do that. I've been told that he will accept emails and answer questions, but let's not inundate the poor man. So with that,
yeah, that's only fair.
With that, the neighbor's kid is screaming, so I'm going to move on to getting right into our first episode here. So this is the first one in the list on Internet Archive. I don't know if that means that it's the first one that was recorded and shipped out. I don't know if that survives or not. I almost feel like it could have been, because it's the narrator's making I'll get into that.
It has a lot of exposition.
It does. I'll get into that a little later. But this one is called Citizenship Insurance Racket. So, for those of you two who remember the details, what did you guys think of this episode?
It's actually very prescient to some of the stuff you see. Well, as we talked about before, a lot of the stuff could very easily be set today as it was back in the 30s. This is this kind of immigration scam where you bring in people thinking you're going to help them get a path to citizenship and then basically turn them into wage slaves.
Right, yeah. And it's...
Yeah.
well,
I knew people who went through that.
Yeah,
it's rough.
I see that in my area, too. It happens a lot with... people coming in from India in my area, where they come in on the H-1B program, and then they go and work for like Irving as a corporation, or Circle K, or whatever company runs that, and they put them to work in the convenience stores, running the pumps and the registers, and their status in the U.S. is contingent on their employment, and if so they can't complain. They can get away with paying them less than minimum wage because they're not U.S. citizens, and it basically allows them to operate these massive chains of gas stations on the super cheap by employing underpaid foreign workers, which is interesting. So the premise of this episode, I should probably say this for the benefit of the audience. The premise of this episode is that immigrants come in, and our main bad guy, whose name I forgot to write down,
Joe Desmond.
Desmond? Yes. So
Yep.
Desmond is running essentially a fake citizenship racket. So he brings in immigrants, ones that he knows have cash on them, and tells them, hey, if you give me your cash, I can expedite your path to citizenship. And you'll be a citizen, and I have a job already lined up. There's a guy who needs workers, so you'll have a job right off the bat, and you'll be a full citizen, and you're all good to go. What he doesn't tell them is that the papers he hands them, because most of them, they don't read English,
And most of them come from countries where bribery of public officials is par for the course.
Right, exactly. So he hands them papers that aren't citizenship papers, but rather a very expensive life insurance policy, which I believe has himself as the beneficiary.
Yep.
The episode doesn't actually say who the beneficiary is, but I assume it has him.
I would assume that it's him. Yeah, because
Yes, and when something happens to them, which does happen fairly early into the episode to one poor guy from Italy, well, he gets a kickback.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they don't say outright that he's the one who gets it, but like who else would he list as the beneficiary? He's going to list himself. That's the typical sleaze bag thing to do. So,
well, it's either that or whatever crooked judge he's buying off.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, they do kind of they hint that he's got a lot of connections to people in power.
Yes,
Yeah,
though specifically when the courts do try to bring him in, the guy that he sends the migrants to work for another guy in a construction business, I believe, is what he does.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he also provides an alibi if Desmond ever gets hauled into court, basically saying, no, he couldn't have been there. He was with me at my office at the time. So
Exactly.
yeah, so he's got an alibi for any time they try to investigate. So that leads into one of the interesting parts of this episode that is something I love when the Green Hornet does this, is when they weaponize the newspaper in order to...
That caught my attention. I mean, just if I can jump in here. Like, you can't not compare Green Hornet to Batman, I'm sorry. And just... Batman and Bruce Wayne are two different characters, and, one's the mask of the other. Debatable which is which. But this episode of the Green Hornet really kind of shows that Britt Reed and Green Hornet kind of are aimed at the same target. They just use different weapons.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
they're two different... Yeah, they're almost two different characters, just work... It's almost like they're accomplices of each other, It's...
Yeah.
But they have such very distinct approaches, and the way that he coordinates his newspaper perfectly with his criminal dealings really leads into that sort of puppet master approach that I love so much. Specifically here, he puts pressure on by basically saying... he basically says that the guy who runs the construction company is crooked and that people need to watch out for him. And that starts to put the pressure on. And so Desmond decides that he needs to get him out of the way before he cracks under the pressure. And so he goes and he murders him.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, the Green Hornet...
And that would be his downfall in the end, because that's what gets the Hornet's attention.
Yes, so it's something else about this episode. It's actually pretty violent for Green Hornet standards.
Mm-hmm.
2 people shot to death.
For the 30s in general, this is violent.
Yeah, actually more than 2, because they also kill like the agents that are in the car, right? So you got the agents that pick up the Italian guy because they're going to bring him to headquarters for questioning about the papers he bought from Desmond. So Desmond gets his henchmen, they get in the car, chase after them, and then roll up with what I assume is a Tommy gun and just light them all up. I think they say that like there's 4 dead bodies in the car.
Get close enough to do some good.
Red light ahead.
Go through.
I told you, Desmond. I warned you.
Shut up, Nelson.
I thought you had a drag in the right places.
If they get that guy to the office, he'll talk, and there'll be Sentinel reporters there to get it.
Hang on, we're taking his turn fast.
There they are. Go on.
The cops saw us.
Keep going. Chopper, you get ready. Hail him as we go past. Step on it.
Yeah, so that'd be the witness and 3 cops.
Yeah, all gunned down with a machine gun in the street.
Yeah, like for context, at this time, even the mafia would be rather hesitant to kill a cop.
Yeah, and then they come across the construction guy's body.
Yeah.
Come across the construction guy's body and mention that he's been shot in the head, and they try to make it look like a suicide. They
I can admit.
shot through the side of the head. The gun is there. The note is there, and Green Hornet shows up. He's going to interrogate the guy. Finds him already dead. with what is definitely a fake suicide note.
Yeah, it's like the guy barely understands English. How the hell is he gonna write a suicide note in English?
I think that's a different guy.
No, this is a different character.
Oh.
The guy at the beginning with the "It's a me Mario" accent is the immigrant. He gets killed, yes, but then a separate guy who's in on the whole grift.
The guy that
I don't think ever gets. Yeah.
The guy who the immigrants get sent to work for is the guy who gets murdered to make it look like a suicide. The accomplice.
The alibi provider, actually.
Yeah, the guy who runs the construction company.
Which may have been a big mistake on the perp's part, because now he's lost his alibi. What's he gonna do now?
I think he just plans to get a replacement. But anyway, Green Hornet shows up, recognizes what's happened, and that the police are going to show up and find this and think it's a suicide. So what does he do? He takes the gun and the note with him and leaves the body for the cops to find. And then when the cops find it, drives away with his Green Hornet buzz on his car to make it look like the Green Hornet has just killed somebody.
Stake him up.
Gato. Yes, sir.
It's Melvin. He's been shot through the head.
Dead?
Yeah. That car that drove away as we turned the corner.
The police.
Someone must have heard the shot and called them.
Here's a note, Mr. Britt.
I'll take it. We gotta get out. There's a gun on the floor, Cato. Pick it up.
Yes, sir.
This way, quickly.
Lights! Turn on the lights! Right. Hurry and steal the room. Get in that chair. Probably a suicide. Lucky I was at headquarters. Dead, all right. I gotta call my paper. Hold on. If it's suicide, where's the gun? Say, listen to that. What is it? The car. It's coming out of the alley. It's the Green Hornet. Let me at that phone. The Green Hornet? This ain't suicide. It's murder. Murder by the Hornet.
So now suddenly it's a murder again.
And that actually was interesting because the exposition at the very beginning of the episode said Green Hornet has never committed any major crimes, which I assume includes murder. So this would be like a big deal that, oh my god, the Green Hornet just blew someone away.
Yeah, he doesn't normally kill people. Yeah, exactly. It's rare. In fact, it hasn't actually happened officially. No one's been able to peg him for murder, and now it's pretty clear that he's done it. So not only is the Green Hornet involved here with whatever's going on with this this mystery that the cops have uncovered, but also he stepped up his game. So it's more serious than it was before.
Definitely. I was kind of laughing as I heard this because it was like just last episode you were saying that Green Hornet never really has an episode where it's like he has to clear his name of having committed a crime. He doesn't really have to do it here, but he kind of brushes up against that plot line.
A little bit, but he leans into it. He uses that to his advantage. So, like, rather than striving to clear himself, he purposely puts the blame on himself in order to draw attention onto himself so that he can use it later to bring the cops in when he needs them.
And then also when he's accosting one of the bad guys later, he knows the guy he's talking to believes he's capable of killing him. Exactly.
So that comes into what happens next. There's a party that's been thrown, and Green Hornet corners one of the henchmen there and says that he interfered with the crime scene because he knew the police wouldn't buy the suicide story, and so instead Desmond has told him to peg it on the henchman instead of him. And so he's there to kill the henchman and plant the evidence on him so it looks like he did the murder.
Wait a minute.
Well,
Who are you working for?
what do you think?
Desmond?
I won't get the goods on Desmond. He's too handy at putting those who might squeal out of his way.
Not me. No, not me. I won't squeal.
You bet you won't. Desmond has the rod that killed Melvin.
What'd you take it for? It was all set
For a
for...
suicide, I know. Yeah, the police wouldn't accept a suicide theory. That's where the boss fell down. There was too much reason to suspect murder.
But...
That's why I took the rod and the note and the blame for the murder. Now I'm putting myself in the clear. The boss as well. He'll follow up what I do. Plant the gun on you. You can take the murder rap.
Wait, listen to me, won't you?
You do the list. Don't worry. Even though you're blamed for the murder, it won't bother you any. You won't know about it.
Well, don't bump me. Wait a minute, won't you? Let me talk.
There's 5 shots left in the gun. They'll match the one that was taken from Melvin's body.
Don't kill me. Give me a chance. I won't squeal. I swear I won't squeal.
You'll not get the chance.
Oh, help. Help, it's a Green Hornet.
You take it, rat.
Help! Help! He's got me! The harness! I wouldn't squeal! Help me!
And hits him with fake gas, which is interesting. Make him think he's been hit when the crowd comes in and makes his escape. The guy thinks that he's just survived an assassination attempt on himself, and so begins to spill the beans to everybody, thinking he's been double-crossed.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Green Hornet has planted the murder weapon on Desmond.
Oh boy.
Who he actually did knock out.
Yes.
And this is something else I noticed, is just before this happened, just before the henchman gets attacked like this, the Desmond has gone to like a back room to investigate an open window, because obviously that's something you do alone when there's a murder around.
Yeah.
And then someone calls, hey, Desmond wants you. And I'm thinking, at this point, the Green Hornet's already knocked Desmond out. So how is he doing this? And it's like there's... It's almost like the Green Hornet can copy voices or sound enough like someone to trick them, because this actually comes up in another episode we're going to cover tonight, too.
Yes, though in that other episode he talks about using a cloth on the telephone receiver to muffle his voice. But in this one, I'd assume it's something he does in other episodes where he'll have somebody call out, like hold them at gunpoint, tell them to call out to their boys, and then gas them immediately afterward. That happens sometimes, so maybe he just did that. They don't show it this go-around, but I don't think it's any sort of copying the voice.
Yeah, it comes up a couple times. So like he'll be on the phone or call out or something, and whoever he's talking to will mistake him for someone else.
Yeah, well, keep in mind what the microphone quality of telephones was back in the 1930s. I think we can cut them a little bit of slack.
Oh, even now your average cell phone mic ain't that good.
Yeah, I know for a fact that when I was after I hit puberty and living at my dad's house, my dad was a pastor, and so we get phone calls from people a lot with different bits of news. He was coordinating with his deacons, stuff like that. I'd pick up the phone and they just start talking to me, like sharing all these details about stuff, and I'd be like, hang on a second, let me go get my dad. I'm like, oh my god, I thought you were your dad.
I think we've all had that happen.
Yeah, so it's mistaken identity over the phone is not too hard to do, but I'd assume that he just had the guy call out for his henchman and then gassed him once he did what he wanted, because he does that in other episodes rather frequently.
All right, that makes some kind of sense, but yeah, it's just something I noticed. I'm listening to the voices here and just seeing what tricks they use.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I really like how everything comes up in the end. I love when the Green Hornet turns the bad guys against each other by making him think that he's working as part of a double cross. That sort of thing just really makes me grin every time he pulls that card.
Desmond, the double crosser. He had me put on the spot. He's the one that got Andrew Melvin. He had him bumped.
Where is he now? Come on, get this mob out of here. Go on now, get back out of there. I want to look this room over.
No chance getting the Hornet now. I'm going to talk. I'm going to spill everything. Listen, Desmond is a killer.
Hey, get a load of this. This Desmond in this clothes press.
Knocked out, killed. Wow.
Oh, he ain't dead, just gas. The Hornet's gas worked on him all right.
Wait, let me show you. Let me prove he bumped Melvin.
How?
Here, let me show you. His pocket. There's the gun he used.
We'll test it.
Check the bore. You'll find it's the same rod that killed Melvin.
And Desmond did it?
Ain't I telling you? Check the gun. That'll prove it.
And the Green Hornet didn't do it?
Desmond done it. He was the boss of everything. He had Tony Russo bumped off. He ran the insurance racket. Throw the crook in jail. Try to have me bumped, will he? I'll fix him.
Boy, we got a story. Let me get my paper.
And again, that's just something that not a lot of other characters can do.
Mm-hmm.
It only works if everyone assumes that you're a criminal too.
But even then, it also makes you wonder: do they ever come to the conclusion that we're being duped?
Sometimes. I mean, it really depends on the episode. Hello, motorcycle. Oh, he's revving his engine too. What an asshole. So anyway.
Reminds me of a neighbor I used to have at my old place.
Yeah, I might cut that out. I might not. We'll see. But anyway, it does come up sometimes.
Dub it over with something funnier. How about that?
Just play like some put a Norm Macdonald clip over it. Something way more entertaining than this show. But anyway,
I need to not drink soda when I'm starting to laugh.
Probably smart.
Oh, my sinuses! Ow! Ow!
Cleans you out.
Back on a topic. Yeah, so there are times where guys will see through the ruse, but typically like it's just another layer of the ruse, and the Hornet is still an extra step ahead.
Or they see through it too late.
Yeah, sometimes that happens as well. Like there's over 1,000 episodes. There's several different variations of similar plot points and beats. Pretty much every permutation is tried at one point or another.
I mean, yeah, you got 1,000 episodes, and each one is like less than half an hour long, so you can't really do a lot of back and forth second guessing each other. It almost necessarily has to be they fall for the ruse, or else the episode would just be too long.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, multi-parters weren't really a thing at the time.
Yes, though there are a few multi-parters in the Green Hornet. They don't happen very often, but they do happen on occasion. But one of the things I love with this episode is the Green Hornet tampering with evidence. I absolutely love that. Playing around with the evidence and just moving it into the right place at the right time to make sure that it actually incriminates who it's supposed to. Because the bad guys, they've already tampered with the evidence. You know, they're trying to move things around to make it look like the guy killed himself. And then he's like, well, it's not really tampering with evidence if it's already tampered with. I'm just going to return it to where it should be so the cops can use it correctly.
It's like that argument of it's like that argument of, is it really stolen if it was already stolen by someone else first?
Right, exactly. It's not piracy when I do it. Anyway, that's a completely different issue. So that's kind of it for that episode. I think it's very strong overall. Like I said, it could have been... I don't know if this was actually the first one to air across the national networks when it was picked up by a bunch of other places. It went into... Oh, what's the term? Transcription. There it is. When it went into transcription. I don't know if this is actually the first transcribed episode, but the narrator makes a point of describing the Green Hornet, Kato, what their relationship is, how they do things. So... it almost feels like it's intended to be one.
The Green Hornet is a copyrighted feature of fictitious characters and events in which the principal character is Britt Reed, manager of the Sentinel newspaper. Only Kato, his faithful Japanese valet, knows the dual role the young millionaire plays to strike at lawbreakers within the law who cannot be reached through the court. Though innocent of major crimes, the Green Hornet is hunted by everyone. The cry of both police and underworld is, dead or alive, get the Green Hornet.
Maybe. I mean, as ham-handed as it is to just start the episode with, okay, here's everything that's important, I also kind of appreciate that, because, like, coming in blind, it's good to have at least some basic idea of what we're dealing with here.
Right.
The term you're thinking of is broadcast syndication.
I was going to say syndication, but I'm reading in the book... the Green Hornet book, they call it transcription specifically. I think that's just the term for actually recording live radio episodes for resale to other networks.
Yeah, the actual broadcasting that later is syndication.
Right, that's called syndication. Yeah. So different parts of the same pizza or whatever. That's the best analogy I could come up with on the fly. These are the jokes, people. This is all that you're getting. So with that, we can probably move on to the next episode here in our list. So on the Internet Archive list, this is actually the third one, because the second one is The Crooked Bridge, which is just There Was a Crooked Man, which is the fourth episode, which we covered last time. It's the same exact episode, just on Internet Archive, it actually is a slightly higher quality recording, so I used that one.
And a few more minutes of extra content that wasn't in There Was a Crooked Man.
Yes, so it's basically the same episode, and...
It is almost exactly the same episode, verbatim.
Yeah, it is. So, and in fact, it's so much the first episode that when we did our last podcast... I used episodes. I used audio rather from that episode as opposed to the actual Crooked Man recording for the little audio snippets that I put in. So, yeah. So we skip episode 2 because it's just episode 4, which is the one that we covered already. And now we're on to number 3, which is Phony Insurance Advisor. What did you guys think of Phony Insurance Advisor?
Well, first of all, you gotta love these incredibly, blunt title. It's exactly what it sounds like. It is an advice. Well, for those of you that don't understand what they mean by an insurance advisor, the insurance industry worked a lot different in the days before the internet. You had to go to, I guess you call them a broker or as an advisor in this case, and they would help you buy the policy you need. But of course, this was ripe for scammers,
right?
As is the plot here.
Yeah, exactly.
But one interesting thing about this episode in particular, we'll get to this plot point eventually, is we actually have someone think he's onto the Green Hornet and trying to blackmail him.
Yeah, that's a really cool one.
He's completely wrong, but he thinks he's got one over him.
So, Lucen, what did you think of this episode?
Pretty good. I mean, I think that this is almost like the sort of plot the Green Hornet was originally made for. It's like going after someone who has broken no law but has still done something bad, you know?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
Technically, these insurance advisors are not breaking the law. In fact, at the beginning of the episode, that's the whole point. The judge is saying, you know, you guys are complete assholes. If I had any power, I'd be punishing you so hard right now, but I can't.
Yes.
She chose to come to us for advice. That's what we're for. She agreed to pay us. Now she won't. I demand that she pays.
Your ounce of flesh, eh?
We're entitled to the money.
If the laws of this state gave me any leeway, Mr. Dougal, I'd make it more difficult for you to collect. You gave Mrs. Rivera advice that she could have gotten for nothing. And not very good advice.
If I could get it free, then why have to pay them?
Because these men have taken advantage of the law, as well as you, Mrs. Rivera. They charge for advice. If you go to them for advice, the law can't stop that.
$100. I'm a poor woman. I thought they would help me.
It's people like you, poor people who are looking desperately for a way to save money. They're the ones who most often fall victims to racketeers.
Oh, it will take me so long to pay. Money I need for the house, for the children. They said they would help me to save the money. And now
It is the hope of this court that someday men who make a racket out of insurance advising are weeded out from those who do so honestly. That the State Insurance Commission will have the power.
The funny thing is, if this were to be happening in the modern day, that may not hold up as well in a modern court, because if there is if you sign a contract with someone and it is so blatantly a scam, in many cases the judge will just throw it out. But that's now. Back then, a contract is a contract is a contract.
We have additional protections in the law nowadays that help to prevent these sorts of things from happening that just didn't exist at the time. But that is something that I really liked about this episode, was starting off by having a court case where the judge is talking to the victim and the perpetrator here. Dougal is his name, and is basically, he feels bad for her. He's grilling the bad guy, talking about how what he's doing is crooked, and then ultimately comes down with, I wish there was something I could do about this, because I think that you're a scumbag, but unfortunately the law does not allow me to intervene in this case, and I have to rule in favor of the asshole here. And that's just something that is very interesting to me, and really fun to listen to as well. Really sets the stage of just how scummy the person is.
And sadly, this kind of scam used to be extremely common. They would usually target the elderly, especially widows.
Yes. So the basic setup here is that this insurance advisor he brings people in to give them insurance advice that is normally provided free of charge. He charges for it without telling them that they could also get it for free if they asked, and then uses his influence to convince them to take on very poorly worded insurance contracts that end up having them pay way, way more money than they would have normally for their insurance. Money that goes directly to him as part of his fees. So essentially just, it's your classic you didn't read the fine print type of setup, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. Of course. I mean, this episode, the next one, kind of had me doing the awkward monkey meme a little bit here. Like, we got a crooked insurance guy who's kind of benefiting off of people to the point that someone has to act outside the law to make things right. I'm going,
Nothing has happened in recent years that is anything like this whatsoever. Not a single thing.
Yeah. Nothing like this.
Nobody's broken the law to get at a crooked insurance broker. That has not happened.
Nope.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's totally nothing involving a guy with an Italian-sounding first name.
Yes. Though I should point out that the obvious difference in the events that didn't happen is that, that's not okay.
It really is not.
It's very much wrong, and he went about it the wrong way, and that is not like the Green Hornet in the slightest. But it just so happens that the topics line up a little bit. It's superficial resemblance at best, but it is kind of funny to note and be like, we're dealing with a lot of the same frustrations today, aren't we?
Yeah, it's obviously the Green Hornet handles it more artfully than the incident that didn't happen.
Yes,
but it is interesting. Like, the same core problem has been around for almost a century now. Of insurance people taking advantage of people, and bad things happening as a result.
It's one of the things that makes the Green Hornet age so well is that the types of people that he goes after, they are still around today, and they're just as scummy and frustrating as they were back then. So even though sometimes the setup is still couched in the time period, you can still understand enough of it to where you understand why the victims are so frustrated, why it's such a destructive thing, and how hard it is for regular people to get justice.
Oh yeah. Yep, one of those timeless stories, I guess.
Yeah, that is a good word to use. It really is timeless. When we get into the plot of the whole thing, I like how it starts off with Britt Reed realizing that there's a racket going on. He immediately uses the newspaper, again, weaponizing the newspaper. He does so by printing an article that warns people to be careful about their insurance brokers. He doesn't name any names. He doesn't give any specific details. But Dougal, the shoe fits, and so he comes into Reed's office furious, thinking that he's wrote a smear piece about him, and he's basically like, "Nah, I didn't say anything specific. Why are you so mad?"
Well, you wanted to see me? Come in. I certainly will. Which of you two is responsible for this editorial?
I put it in the Sentinel, Dougal. What about it?
Never mind, Gunnigan. Your name's Dougal, isn't it? It is. Then you can complain to me. As publisher, I had that editorial written. Just what do you mean by advising the public to steer clear of certain insurance advice? Exactly what the article says, Mr. Dougal. I gather you can read. I'm an insurance advisor.
Well, the man's bragging about it, Reed.
Had a little case in court yesterday, didn't you? We were entirely within the law. Mrs. Revere owed us that money. For what? For our advice. For which you charged her $100. That's our fee. I'm in an honest business. Now, stop right there. The Sentinel doesn't make war on honest businessmen, Dougal. Then how about this editorial? That editorial specifically states that most insurance advisors are honest, with a few exceptions. And you call me one? We mention no names.
We didn't have to. If the shoe fits, Dougal, wear it.
My business is offering advice to those in need. And the Sentinel's business is reflecting public opinion. What you've done
Now stop right
Now
there.
listen to me.
No, just for a change, you listen to me.
You offer advice and charge a fee, is that right?
Yes.
Well, the Daily Sentinel offers advice, too. Only our fee is no more than 3 cents. The price of the newspaper.
You mean by
Draw
that...
your own conclusions. We let our readers do the same.
But you can't.
What? I run this paper, not you.
I believe that certain insurance advisors aren't all they should be. I can use the pages of the Daily Sentinel to warn the public, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Now, was there anything else?
Well, it is.
Looks like you're around, Reed. Now, we're rather busy, Toogle. If you don't mind. Yes, Miss Kate.
Which
Actually, I gotta jump in on this. Sorry, Zero. What were you saying?
What's really funny about that is it's basically turning the exact same. It's doing the same shit to him that he would do to his customers.
Right?
It's like, I am following the law to the letter.
Yes. My, how the turntables.
What caught my attention in this scene is that actually Britt Reed loses cool for a minute here. You actually catch him yelling at the guy. He's
yeah,
like,
he gets
you listen to me.
Yeah.
It's like, just for a second he slips into his Green Hornet voice just a little bit.
Yeah, which is something I want to bring up real quick. Al Hodge is the voice actor for the Green Hornet, and he is so good. So freaking good. He can do the suave sort of playboy attitude, that very charming, sweet talk voice that he has as Britt Reed. And then when he wants to be scary and intimidating and authoritative, his Green Hornet voice is perfect. Absolutely inspired casting. In fact, it was so good. This is a little detail that I think is fun. If you watch the film serial, they have a different person playing Britt Reed. I forget what the name of the actor is. But as soon as he puts on the Green Hornet mask, the audio switches over to Al Hodge, and he voices the Green Hornet when the guy's in the Green Hornet costume.
Here's the gas gun I made.
Are you sure the bullets won't kill?
They just put people to sleep for a short time.
Oh, you're a wizard. And don't forget, when I give you this signal, cut the electric light wires. All right, let's go to the garage. Funny, isn't it, Cato?
What, Mr. Britt?
When we built this secret garage to construct our super speedster, we never thought it'd become the lair for a modern Robin Hood. Are you sure our photoelectric cells will close the doors after we've driven through?
Yes, they did when I tested the car.
How fast will she go?
Better than 200.
All right, Cato, we're going to introduce Mr. Grant and the world to the Green Hornet.
That's clever.
It's really cool, and it works very well. So
Gordon Jones, that was the actor.
Gordon Jones, yes, thank you. Yes, so Gordon Jones plays Britt Reed, and then when he puts on the mask, it's the voice of Al Hodge takes over. Which I'm sure was really fun for people who were listening to the radio show, to hear the radio show's voice actor take over the Green Hornet voice. They only did it for the first film serial, which is part of the reason why it's better than the second one. Not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons. But
it's ended up being yet another Batman parallel where you get the kind, suave voice of the normal face, and then you would get the more intense voice when he has to crack it out.
Yeah, wonder where he got that idea. That's another thing with the Green Hornet. He came first.
I think I heard Michael Keaton's the one who thought to deepen his voice register when he's Batman, but I would need to check that.
I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure that was kind of... that was the thing that was done with pulp heroes even before the Hornet. One that comes to mind with that would be, I don't know, were there any radio recordings of it? Zorro was kind of like that, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not unheard of for characters with alter egos to disguise their voices as well. I think you can trace that back as far as, the Count of Monte Cristo,
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on to the episode here. I mean, the Green Hornet does a fair bit of 4D chess here, kind of manipulating what's his name, Dougal, remotely almost.
Yeah, this one gets a little almost convoluted. It's a little tough to follow, I think, but it all makes sense if you pay a little bit of attention. But it's one of those episodes where, if you zone out for a minute and you miss an important piece of dialogue, you'll be lost. All the information is there to follow, but if you're not locked in, you might miss some very important details.
Yeah, he does something like in anticipation of what the other guy will do in response. I mean, this is actually a trope. It's unfortunately called the Batman Gambit, where you know someone so well that you can anticipate what they're going to do when you do something else.
Right. So,
but the brilliant thing about it is that he tricks Dougal into thinking that he's the one step ahead.
Yeah, that's the thing that I want to dig into here. So, he sends a letter to Dougal's office claiming that he knows the true identity of the Green Hornet and that the Green Hornet is one of his victims. And one of the guys he's sold insurance to. And that means that Dougal gets the idea that if he figures out who it is, he can blackmail that person into giving them tons of money, which is way more than the reward of turning him over to the police.
Why, this note says that one of our clients is the Green Hornet.
Yeah, it could be any one of 100 people.
This note must be from someone who knows the Hornet's identity.
That's what I figured. But why should the Green Hornet be interested in what we're doing?
I wish I knew.
Maybe that's a crank letter, Dougal.
If it were signed by the Green Hornet, if it were a demand for money, it might be false, a crude attempt at a shakedown, but... Well, this letter's apparently doing us a favor.
Hadn't thought of that.
Must be from someone who hates the Hornet.
Well, that takes in everybody. They fear him like the plague.
Yeah. If you want to learn the real identity of the Green Hornet, he's one of the suckers on your list.
Do you think it might be that man Black, the one we had in yesterday? He said he was looking for advice on insurance, but he looked kind of tough.
Too dumb.
Hey, Dougal, if we could locate the Green Hornet, we'd get that reward.
Never mind the reward.
Huh?
You fool, that reward is chicken feed.
I don't get it.
Webster, how much would the Hornet pay us not to tell the police?
I don't... Hey, that's an idea.
We could collect plenty.
Yeah, if we learn who he is.
We have a lead already. All we need is to... Well?
The man outside. He's a reporter from the Sentinel. Wants to talk about the Hornet.
We're not talking. Send him away.
Oh, wait. A reporter, huh? Maybe he can give us some information without knowing it. I'll talk to him first. Then we'll send him away.
And he can blackmail and extort the Green Hornet. And so he starts digging through his own clients to try and figure out who the Green Hornet is. That's an approach that you don't see very often. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost a gamble on Britt Reed's part. Like, he says, like, what, the letter triggered his innate criminal instincts or something. Like, he was just assuming that this guy was going to move to blackmail. I don't know what plan B was here.
Well, this is a guy who, whose whole racket is based around fine print and legalese and finding loopholes and ways to catch people to make more money.
Yeah, his MO was blackmail, basically.
Yeah, it sort of, yeah. Like, his MO is finding the catch that will allow him to milk people for more money. So he just kind of had him pegged.
I think technically it's called fraud, Zero, but yeah, we'll go with blackmail's a close cousin of it.
Fraud is something else. Fraud is when you mislead someone, whereas he's not technically misleading his victims. He's just expecting the victims to overlook something.
He's forcing them into violating the terms of a contract unwittingly, and then bringing them up on breach of contract in order to get money out of them.
I didn't hear that part of the episode, but we know he's taking advantage of people over insurance.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what happens with the insurance thing. He signs them up for essentially a payment plan that works differently than they thought, so they end up owing a lot more money than they thought they were going to, and then he catches them on missed payments, essentially.
All right.
Yeah, that's what the judge is talking about in the beginning. So, they go. The gentleman that they settle on is a guy named Lunt, who has a similar build to the Green Hornet, which leads to a really fun joke here about Axford being Axford.
Holy crow. What is? I just thought of something. Reed, do you suppose one of them guys might be the Hornet?
Dougal or Webster?
No, one of the guys that's asking the questions from. Golly, now that I recollect, there was one fellow that might be the Hornet.
So?
Yeah, a guy named Lund.
Lund?
Yeah, I got his address wrote down here in my little book. I'm keeping a list whenever we talk to somebody what we're speaking to Dougal and Webster.
Oh, let's see that book, Axford.
What makes you regard him as a possibility?
Me police training, that's what.
He looks like the Hornet?
Well, I ain't never seen the Hornet's face on account of that mask the Hornet wears. But this guy's about the same size. Oh, there's plenty of times I've been as close to the Green Hornet as you and me right now, Reed.
Uh-huh. But that's no indication, Axford. After all, you've often said that my build was similar to the Green Hornet.
But this guy, Lund, Reed. Wait, let me see that book.
Another clue?
Yep, just like I thought. Dougal and Webster been to see Lund twice. Twice, Reed. Don't that prove they got their eye on him?
So you think Lund may be the Hornet?
I got me theories, Reed. I'll leave you know when I find out.
I'll be waiting.
Howdy, Reed. Did I ever say your bill was like the Green Hornet?
Well, many times.
But I must have been dreaming. The more I look at you, the more I can tell it must be this guy Lund. It's sure ain't you.
Yep.
Axford.
They did a similar joke in like the last episode, I think, with James or something. Like the secretary said, I don't think you know the Green Hornet if he was right in front of you. Oh, by the way, Britt Reed's coming to talk to you now.
Yes, that last episode. You wouldn't know Britt Reed if he was standing right in front of you. Well, I'd like to get the chance to talk to him one of these days. And, Mr. Reed will see you now. Oh my god, this show can be really funny sometimes. I love how it handles the comedy. Typically comes in very short bursts, but they're always hilariously funny when they do. Usually it's just clever wording or someone being sassy. So once they start getting, this is where things start to get complicated, because I'm just gonna read down. I wrote down a synopsis of the episode. I'm gonna read verbatim what I have here, and see if I can remember how this episode went, because it's kind of confusing. Lowry and Axford investigate Dougal further for his connection to the Hornet. Dougal and the reporters begin to suspect a victim named Lunt. Reed calls Dougal and tells him to go to Lunt's address to get more info on the Hornet. The Hornet gets out of his car and enters Lunt's apartment in front of Dougal. Dougal goes inside and holds Lunt at gunpoint, threatening to expose him if he doesn't pay a massive sum of money, then leaves. Britt calls Dougal a few days later, offering to pay, telling him to meet back at the apartment. He then calls the police and tells them that the Hornet is at Lunt's apartment. Britt goes to the apartment and hides while Lunt lets the police in. Lunt says that Dougal is blackmailing him. The police hide, and Dougal comes in, incriminating himself in front of the cops. The Hornet then makes an appearance during his escape, clearing Lunt. Wow.
Yeah, there's... You skipped one part at the beginning there where Dougal first approaches Lunt. Green Hornet is also hiding in the room, having already told Lunt, here's what you're going to say.
Yes, that's the other thing. Yeah, you're going to essentially play along, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone. You can come out now.
What's the matter, Lund? You look pale.
What does this mean? You come in here wearing a mask and a gun. You get by...
You were told what to say and you said it, and that's enough.
He thinks I'm the Hornet. $50,000.
Trying a little blackmail.
I don't get this. I got nothing to do with you.
You don't care for Dougal?
Went to him for insurance advice. He gypped me. And he comes in here...
You want him to tell you to keep quiet?
Well,
do as you're told.
Listen, you don't have to point
Keep your mouth shut. Dougal's after the Hornet, not you. He won't be harmed, I promise you. Just forget everything that happened, you'll be all right.
Lunt is kind of in on it without knowing that he's in on it, because he has no idea what the fuck is going on, which is kind of humorous in its own way. Poor fella. All he knew is he bought insurance from this guy, and now suddenly people are saying he's the Green Hornet and the real Hornet's here holding me at gunpoint, and the guy wants $50,000 and I don't know what to do.
And for our listeners, I'd plug that into a calculator. $50,000 in the 30s is a little over $1 million today.
Yeah. That's a significant chunk of change that he just assumes that the Green Hornet has. It's something that they point out as well. It's like, well, Lunt can't be the Green Hornet. He lives in a crummy apartment. He's poor. If he had that kind of money, why would he live there? Well, he must be hiding it someplace.
Well, it's not a bad cover identity if you think about it, but...
I guess, but what's the point in stealing tons of money from people if you never spend it on at least having a decent living situation? A modest house of your own as opposed to a crummy New York apartment.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's minor details. But yeah, it gets really confusing for a little bit. Though, I don't want to make it sound like you can't follow it, because when you're listening to it, it all falls into place. But trying to retell how it all goes down is kind of a nightmare, because there's so many moving pieces. And again,
Yep.
it's all crammed into a half hour.
And it also, like, sort of played off on Lunt not being the smartest guy, because as far as I can tell, he's the only guy in New York that doesn't know the Green Hornet uses a gas gun. Because, like, near the end, he, like, freezes up and says, "Oh my god, the Green Hornet has a gun on me." And they say, "What are you talking about? He uses gas."
Everybody knows
he uses
that.
gas?
I can't talk. There's a gun pointed at me.
Gun? Nobody's got a gun.
The Hornet has.
Well, what of it? The Hornet uses a gas gun. You ought to know that.
A gas gun? You mean it's just gas?
Why, sure. Can't hurt a fly.
So that's it. There's the Hornet there.
Huh?
I'm the fire escape. Come on, we'll get that crook.
Well, there's nobody here.
Dougal, you fool. It's a trap. This man isn't the Hornet.
Holy mackerel, look. There he goes. That's the Hornet's car.
There, I told you. There's proof I'm not the Hornet.
There, we can see that, Lund. And you can't hold us here.
No, you'll help her plenty. This guy isn't the Hornet, but you tried blackmail. And the charge is going to stick.
Well, let me go. That Green Hornet, he did this. If I ever see him,
I'm down, you rat. The only thing you're going to see is bars. Your racket's all washed up.
It's like, that caught my attention because, like, everyone who interacts with the Hornet says, "Oh yeah, he uses a gas gun, no big deal." But Lunt's the one guy that didn't know.
Yeah, that pops up a few times, because you remember in the last episode, he shoots the fake gas at the guy, and he thinks that it's fatal. He thinks that he's being killed. So, no, the gas the Hornet uses isn't lethal.
Maybe, but that's with, like, the little asterisk that the Green Hornet, as far as he knows the Green Hornet didn't kill the guy, but I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, there is something I want to mention here that I like with this episode, is that it's another one of those puppet master things that the Green Hornet does. So he posts the letter to go to Dougal's office, and he gets they get the letter while he's in Britt Reed's office, which is this fun thing that he'll do where he'll set things up to purposely put a bit of separation between himself and the Hornet, almost like he's creating an alibi for himself as he goes along. I love when he does that. Another thing I have in my notes here, this particular episode, the audio quality, it's not very good.
Well, it's a recording that somebody probably took off of the radio with 1930s audio equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's again speaks to that state of preservation on these episodes, why it's so important to get as much of it preserved as we can. Again, go over to the Green Hornet case files and give those guys some support. They don't get enough views. Their episodes, their podcast is better than mine. I'm just straight up going to say it because they're actually a couple guys with charisma. So if you want to listen to an entertaining podcast,
well, they're professionals too.
They are very professional about it. We're very off the cuff, seat of our pants, cussing like sailors the entire time. So if you want something a bit more refined and high class, head over there and give those guys some support and help them get more episodes done. I would donate a kidney. I have 2 kidneys that work. I only need one. I'll donate one of my kidneys to get them to make more episodes if I have to. So,
well, let's put that off for later, but yeah, we'll certainly support them any way you can.
Yes. Let's see, another thing I have in my notes here. So this is something that I really like, or something that I noticed. I think I noticed recognized a music sting from an episode of the Superman cartoon, the Fleischer.
You picked up on that too, huh?
Oh, you did. You heard it too, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember specifically. I think I can remember the scene, and if I can't find it, I'll put a thing here that calls me an idiot, like I did in the last episode. But I'm almost positive I can remember the scene. It's been years since I've watched it, but I remember an episode of the Superman cartoon where he's chasing a train, and there's a piece of the music that starts slow and speeds up, and they time it to like the chugging of the engine as it struggles to get up a hill. I'm almost positive that's how it goes. And I'm going to try and put them side by side and compare them to prove my point, but if I can't do it, I'm just going to put a silly thing here with elevator music that says that I'm a moron. So we'll put that...
Well, it'd be both of us if that's the case.
Yeah, whichever one that is, it's going now. Oh boy, wasn't that fun. So anyway, time to move on to the next episode.
Yep, and this one is, what's it called? Oh yeah, Not a Drop Worth Drinking.
This one is a little bit weird to talk about. I want to hear you guys' opinion on this episode as a whole.
Okay, well, remember what I said about tying this stuff into recent events? Well,
we won't get too deep into that, just because.
Yes, but this is something you actually don't see often in media in general, is plots about scientific scams.
Yes. Goodness gracious.
Bunk studies and what's basically medical extortion with manufactured crises.
Yeah,
it's a criminally underutilized plot that you don't see often in fiction. There's plenty of historical examples to look at.
Lucian, what did you think of this?
Well, I was going to say, usually in, superhero and probably pulp kind of stuff like this, in fact, in the Superman, whatever it is, animated stuff, science usually means some kind of mad scientist where, he's got a death ray or evil robots or something. It's not something subtle like screwing up tests on purpose so that you cause public panic.
This guy's just a chemist testing for contaminated water.
Yeah, paying off a scientist to say what you want. 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this toothpaste, and one of them we couldn't buy.
For anyone doubting this, it is, I would argue, easier to buy off a scientist than it is to buy off a politician. A politician can have a career based on being honest. It may be a short career, but they can have one. A scientist has to tell their benefactors what they want to hear, or they just don't get their grants.
Yeah. So this particular episode, the thing that strikes me about it is that this one was, I was trying to write a synopsis as I went along. This one I struggled with because of, again, it has a lot of moving pieces, and it went in directions I wasn't expecting it to go, which I thought was really fun.
The pacing is a bit weird, and there's some technical aspects to this that only really make sense if you have at least a passing familiarity with chemistry.
Yeah.
Now, for someone of our generation, we took chemistry in high school. We might have some understanding of what's going on, but someone in the 30s,
I don't know. It's maybe. I think that there's enough information in the episode itself to. More, it's abstracted enough to where you could get the gist even if you don't know much about chemistry. But the main thing here, so the thrust of it starts off with a newspaper other than the Sentinel. It's not often that you hear a newsboy in these episodes crying out for a different newspaper. This one's called the Clarion, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Clarion, a rival newspaper, is putting out these sensationalized yellow journalism stories about a recent epidemic in the city, which is being caused by contaminated water in the water supply. And it juxtaposes this with the Daily Sentinel reporting the opposite, that there is no epidemic and the water is perfectly fine. And the thing that makes it so difficult to understand the truth is that both of them are bringing in expert opinions. They both have scientists coming in saying total opposite things to each other.
Analysis of over 50 samples of milk taken at random convinced me that we must look further for the source of contamination, which gives rise to the present epidemic. Signed, Grant, City Health Department.
In my opinion, the present epidemic is nothing about which to become alarmed. Such an ailment occurs with the present frequency about once every 7 years. I believe this spring is simply the time for the recurrence of such an epidemic. Signed, Dr. Holmes.
Samples of the city water supply show no trace of contamination. Signed, Fox, City Chemist. The public is advised to boil all drinking water. Signed, Health Commissioner.
Can you trace the fever in the last 24 hours? Various story of epidemic.
It is quite possible that a contamination exists in the water which cannot be isolated. Brigham, M.D.
I demand an investigation be conducted. Maybe our purification system has failed.
In my opinion, there is nothing about which to become alarmed.
Boil all drinking water.
Such an ailment occurs as an epidemic about once every 7 years.
I demand an investigation. What's the matter with our water system?
There is nothing about which to become alarmed.
Epidemic on the increase. Investigation is demanded.
Play this epidemic down. There's no reason to alarm the public.
Both with absolute certainty. I mean, these are guys in positions of power as well. They're like official chemists and inspectors for the city. And they just have different, complete polar opposite conclusions about whether or not the water is bad. And so nobody really knows what to believe, and it's creating distrust and unease in the public. And the whole reason this is being done is so that a gentleman, I think his name is Gaylord, which that's just the worst name. That's the worst name I've heard since Michael Moorcock. I am so sorry for your loss, sir. But
could be worse. Could be Michael Hunt or
yeah. So he's trying to sell the city a new water treatment plant, and he'll get a significant kickback. And they're basically conspiring to try and sell a new water plant to the city, one that's way more expensive, both to purchase and to run, in order to make themselves a massive profit. So it's a manufactured crisis to try and sell a product.
And they have a publicity guide, too. Yeah. Yeah, this was another one of those episodes that had me kind of looking around nervously, like, this just from the 30s. Yep.
Yeah, no, it doesn't correlate with anything nowadays. It's create a disease and sell the cure. Not literally, of course, but my goodness.
But yeah, they also had like a publicity guy, which I thought was a nice touch here. It's like someone who has like a scene where he's on the radio or what have you, just riling people up, saying, "Oh, the new water filtration plant is no big deal. It's just an extra 2 cents a day or whatever it is."
Oh yeah.
And
the added cost will mean less than 2 cents a day. Now, my friends, figure that out. The average family is 5 people. 2 cents a day for good health for a family of 5. Less than half a cent a person. And for that trifling sum, certain people still maintain and insist that we shall adhere to the same drinking water that has been used for the past decade. Suppose the auto industry stood still. Suppose all industry refused to admit progress. You would still be listening to me on headphones. Perhaps you would never know the thrills of radio.
Rabble-rousy.
What's the matter, Mr. Bates?
Now, that fellow Burton.
Cato, his is the type of voice that can make you hate anything he sneers at. The type of voice that hypnotizes the public. He has them thinking that 2 cents a day is a mere trifle. But he doesn't tell them that it means 60 cents a month, nearly $2 more on the quarterly water bill. And that means that the water bills will be practically doubled.
That's right, Mr. Bates.
That's 2 cents in 1930s money. That adds up fast.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think he says that in the end it's going to raise the average person's water bill by $2.
Which was a lot of money back then.
Yes, that was a lot of money back then. It's just really funny from where I sit in 2025 being like, oh my god, $2! How will we ever survive?
For those who might not know, the inflation calculator says that's about almost $40 today.
Yeah, that's significant. So the significance of it is that it's basically doubling their water bill. Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. And he's breaking it down to make it sound like it's cheap, but it adds up to being essentially double what they were paying for water before.
And I was actually curious why Britt Reed couldn't run a newspaper article disproving the math here, but I guess the point is just that Fox, the bad scientist here, good name there, by the way, is...
Also not relevant.
Yeah. I guess the point is Fox just has the ear of the right people, and obviously has his own publicity guy here. So maybe I was assuming Britt Reed just knew that simple newspaper articles just weren't going to be enough.
Well, when he's listening to the radio broadcast, he cuts him off and gives a spiel about how powerful his words are and how convincing they're going to be to the average person. Mm-hmm. And basically the only way to get around him is to prove once and for all that they're lying, which they do.
Card-carrying villainy.
This is an interesting thing. Britt Reed's plan. So Cato almost gets to use his science skills in this episode. Almost, because his plan is to go in and test the water samples that the the paid-for chemist, the one who's found the contamination. They're going to test his water samples using Cato, because he is a chemist himself, in order to determine whether or not it's actually contaminated. But unfortunately, this doesn't go through because they run into Dr. Holmes, who is one of the legitimate chemists, who has come to the conclusion that his colleagues are taking bribes in order to create panic when the actual scientific evidence points to the contrary. So he's come over at the exact same time with the exact same plan, and he gets the Green Hornet at gunpoint for a minute until Cato hops in and disarms him.
A single desk lamp casts a faint glow of light in the chemistry laboratory as Dr. Holmes, gun in hand, faces the Green Hornet. So you are the Green Hornet.
What are you doing here, Holmes? Aren't you in trouble enough already?
Trouble? I'll go the whole way now. I'm here to prove that Fox lied. I'm here to conduct my own analysis with the same equipment Fox used. I'm here to learn the truth for myself.
Burglary on top of the other charges, huh?
Burglary? What's a thing like that to me? I don't think there'll be any charge anyway. You're the one who entered first. And I suppose you're the one who put the watchman in the condition which I found him.
I am.
But enough talk. I've never shot a man. But you...
Holmes, you haven't even asked me what I'm doing here.
Obviously, you're hand in glove with the rest of the crew.
You're mistaken.
Oh, no,
I came here for the same reason you did. I, too, wanted to know the truth about those water tests.
Why?
And because I had ideas about collecting a little of this cash that Gaylord's planning to spend.
You? I knew it. You are in with the rest of them.
But that's where you're wrong. I'm against the rest of them, and until they pay me off.
Oh, that's it, eh? Well, you'll not be paid off. I'm going
to... Don't you know that before you can squeeze that trigger, my friend will knock you down?
That's a pretty old trick, Hornet. I've heard it done before, but I won't turn around.
You didn't see my assistant when you came in here.
Assistant?
Hold him! I'll take that gun.
You do have someone with
I
you.
have, as you've seen. Let me go now. No, Holmes. You keep facing this way.
And then they basically sit him down and say, okay, to prove that we're on the level here, you're going to... I'm not going to do anything to you. I'm just going to have you run the test. We want you to run the test.
Yep. So it's a little bit convenient that worked out exactly as it did, because I'm pretty sure that really did catch the Green Hornet off guard, that Holmes was there at the same time.
Yep. That was the case of just bad timing and having to think on his feet.
Yeah.
Which he is very good at for, well, a pulp hero, basically, let's be honest.
Yeah, you don't ever really see instances of the Green Hornet gets surprised by somebody and they punch him in the face and knock him out. It does happen occasionally, but compared to a lot of other heroes from the time period where they need to manufacture some drama or make things more intense, they'll have the good guy get sucker punched at one point. That doesn't happen to Britt Reed very often. He's almost always in complete control from start to finish.
Of course, on the archive side anyway, this plays exactly right after There Was a Crooked Man, in which the same thing happens. Is someone gets him under a gun and Cato has to run in to save the day.
Yeah, that's another fun thing. Cato gets to do things in this episode. That's fun.
Yep.
I think that's gonna be a catchphrase now going through different episodes. Hey, Cato gets to do something in this episode. Yay! I should add a little sound bite that I can play in editing whenever that comes up. That'll be a fun little running gag, I think. Manufactured comedy is always funny. Everybody knows that. If you try to force
make it like a Bruce Lee quip or something.
Yeah, the more you try to force comedy, the funnier it is. That's the rule. I've been told this.
Just one of his yells or key eyes from a martial arts movie or something.
I've been told this by the funniest comedian of all time, Amy Schumer. Anyway.
That was almost funny.
Like Amy Schumer. Anyway. So let's just move right along. So this is where I think that it gets a little bit weak in the episode here. So Dr. Holmes calls the Sentinel with a letter from the Green Hornet, which provides instructions on what they should do, which they just decide to go along with. I think that's a little bit weak.
Yeah, because it's like, let's just follow the instructions of the known criminal, including murder, among other things.
Yeah, it's. I don't see any real reason why they would logically, but it does lead into the conclusion of the episode, which I do think is actually pretty fun, I like the twist. I don't think how it gets to the twist is quite solid enough, but I like the twist itself. So they basically bring.
I think this is one of those episodes that suffered from the format just not giving them enough time to
Yeah,
pace this properly.
I would agree with that. They get the city officials. I think like the mayor is there, and
I wrote this down. He got the health commissioner, the commissioner, the president of the city council, and the mayor all in the same room at the same time. But wow, Britt Reed's got some pull here, doesn't he?
Well, it's something I put in my notes. The Sentinel is the only virtuous newspaper to show up in this episode, and I'm pretty sure the only one that shows up in any episode of the show. So Britt Reed is the only honest journalist, so I guess it's not out of the question to assume that he's got some pull with that kind of reputation. Though it might be a bit of a stretch to get everybody in the same room at the same time, but then again, the water issue is a big issue that's been plaguing the city. So maybe they have they also get a stenographer. That's another thing they get in there. They brought a stenographer with them. So they get the crooked chemist, Tyler, is that his name?
Fox.
No, Fox
is the chemist. Tyler is someone involved in this game. I forget who.
I thought Fox was the radio guy.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Tyler's the chemist. So we got Gaylord Lol, who is the guy with the water plant. Then we've got Tyler the chemist and Fox the radio guy. I'm pretty sure, who also runs the Clarion. I think is the implication. Anyway, the chemist, who I'm gonna call Tyler, whether that's his name or not. But Tyler is doing his. They basically want to run the test again and watch him do it to make sure. So he goes through and he does the test on his water samples and gets the contaminated result, showing off to them. Like, hey, look, the water's contaminated. And then Britt Reed pulls out the letter from the Green Hornet, which reveals that last night he broke in and switched out the water samples for regular distilled water. And so the reagent that the chemist put into the water is what contaminated it. So they then take the reagent from him and use it on other things they know to be clean. Comes out contaminated. The water turns brown, which is the big tell, and basically prove right there in front of everybody that he's been lying about it. And the entire thing falls apart, and everybody goes home happy, except the people who don't.
Yeah, it made me think a little bit like high school chemistry class. I'm sure that, there's countless experiments that happen in high school chemistry. Like you add chemical A to chemical B, and the liquid changes color. It's like that. But it's made it accessible to the listener, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially with 1930s education. I don't know what education was like back then, but I know that the literacy rate in general was a lot lower back then. So.
Yeah, except the people who were literate tended to be more literate.
Yeah, the number of people who could read was lower than the number of people who owned radios. I think that's a safe assumption. So
but now we're moving back towards that.
Well, look, we don't need to talk about this. I want to feel happy tonight. But
okay.
Anyway, So that's the twist, though. And like I said, I like the twist. I like the switching the water thing that he does. The letter is what kind of makes it fall apart, because anyone can write a letter.
I really think this episode could have benefited from being a two-parter.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think this one's a little bit rushed and doesn't quite gel together like a lot of the other ones do. It's still really enjoyable. There's good comedy in it. It's got Lowry doing Lowry things, and I always like to have Lowry around. But overall, the whole thing is just kind of a jumble and doesn't quite come together.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not as much as the other two. The story's a little bit convoluted, a little contrived in spots.
Yeah.
So
the thing one has to keep in mind too is that this was the very early days of broadcast media in general. They were still trying to figure out how to pace this sort of media in a way that they could fit it into the time slot while still leaving enough time for the commercial breaks.
I would buy that, except for the point that they've been running the show for 3 years at that point.
I would argue they didn't really fully figure this out until well into the 60s when TV and Marty's the Planet Radio.
Yeah, I think that it's more a result of just we need 50 scripts written this week, and like they can't all be bangers, you know. Some of them are gonna
that too.
Some of them are gonna be a little bit less good than others.
The penny dreadful approach to writing, as they call it.
Exactly. Throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and something will stick. So honestly, with how many of these they would bang out, it's amazing that so many of them are good. You'd expect the quality to be all over the place, but in my experience, they're almost always good episodes. And
even the ones that aren't so good, they have their merits.
Yeah, exactly. They'll have bits and pieces of them that are interesting and fun to listen to, regardless. Yeah, I do think go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to this episode a couple times to try and figure out what's going on. I mean, once I knew how all the pieces fit together, it seemed to run pretty well.
Well, that's the thing, though, because that's a luxury that you have that someone in the 1930s wouldn't have had with their radio.
Yeah.
They get one shot.
I mean, a pause button is a luxury for people in the 30s. So
right,
yeah,
exactly.
Well, they didn't exist in the 30s, period.
That's what I meant.
You remember when TiVo came out, and it was like a big deal that you could pause live TV?
Yeah. Yeah, except that by now, well, nothing is worth watching enough to bother with pausing it in the first place.
It's just so funny to me. Dude, the early 2000s were an absolutely wacky time when it comes to mass media technology.
Yeah.
So many things would just pop up and then disappear. But anyway, we're talking about radio, not TiVo. But that's the final episode. I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. What do you guys have? Anything else?
I think we've hit all the notes I had in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, the only other note I have on this is the voice choices here is the good scientist and the bad scientist, whatever their names are. I appreciate they actually got actors whose voices not only sounded different, but you could tell immediately from the sound who was the good scientist. Holmes had like a softer, kind of more welcoming voice, while the evil guy, who I think is still named Fox, had a more normal sounding voice that you could immediately distinguish. So even just without even knowing their names, what they stand for, you kind of get an automatic idea of whose side you should be on.
Fox, I wonder what made you change your opinion so suddenly, so radically.
Well, these tests.
And where did that water come from?
Right from that test. Are you doubting me?
Oh, no, Fox. No, I wouldn't doubt you without more proof.
Proof? Proof of what?
Mr. Fox, there are certain interests that would like very much to sell the city a new water filtration plant. It would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and represent a tremendous burden to the already well-burdened taxpayers. It would mean that water rates would have to be doubled, and it would line the pockets of the firm that installed it.
Which is the more important, the public health or saving a few cents a month for taxpayers?
Both are important. The first is essential. Public health must be guarded at any cost. But we do not need a new system.
You say that in the face of what my report shows?
I do. I've had my own chemist analyze the water.
Oh, I see. I guess you're hedging around for a cut-in on the graft, huh? Fox. Yeah. Maybe you have the idea that the Maxwell Company will hand you a few grand to okay the new water system.
I have the idea that they've already done that. For you.
You'd better prove that statement before you make it public.
Perhaps I will.
I didn't even notice that.
It kind of also gives you an idea of what, like, close your eyes when you hear their voice and imagine and just picture how you would see them in your head.
Yeah.
Like the good guy, you imagine him be kind of a bookish type, almost like an absent-minded professor sort. And then the other guy you just imagine as being, who's the fucking doctor from The Simpsons? I can't remember his name. You know who I'm talking about.
Dr. Nick?
That guy.
I don't watch enough of The Simpsons. I was just picturing Dr. Wily from Mega Man.
Well.
No, I wouldn't go that far, but just a bit of a sleaze.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Like, doctor, it really hurts when I move my arm like this. Don't move your arm like that then. That'll be $500, please.
Or he just like punches you right in the jaw. So I bet you don't notice your arm now, do you?
Yeah. No, you can't sue me.
Yeah.
You signed a waiver when you came in. So anyway,
Yep.
that's the last of the episodes, and that's probably where we're going to wrap it up. I think that we covered them pretty well. I wasn't sure how covering 3 episodes at a stretch was going to go, but I think that this actually went pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think this
Not bad,
format
not
works. So you guys both.
I really look forward to listening to the finished ones. I'm pretty sure you're going to do some interesting stuff with the editing.
A little bit. I mean, it's a lot of audio to go through, so there's only so much I'm going to spend time on throwing things together. But I am going to try to cut up relevant bits of the episodes that we were discussing, try and lessen the motorcycle sounds. They have been very active tonight. So again,
just replace them with something funny.
I can't because I'm talking at the same time as they're going by. So if I replace the audio, it's going to cut me off.
Yep. Welcome to my personal hell of recording and editing audio like that.
Oh my god. Dude, running this YouTube channel, motorcycles are my worst enemy. I swear to God, one of these days I will rule the world and everyone who drives motorcycles will be put to death just because I don't like them. They ruined my recording for YouTube videos too many times. I had to do multiple takes of things, which mildly inconvenienced me for like 10 seconds at a stretch, which is an unforgivable sin, and they will be punished. Oh my god. I get very worked up over little things. Anyone who's watched me live stream MechWarrior Online knows about it. But anyway, that's where we're going to call it for tonight. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I say everybody, all 5 of you, for tuning in to watch this episode. I actually got decent feedback on the last one, so more people showed up than I expected. So thanks, everybody, for showing up. I know that the Green Hornet isn't everybody's biggest interest, but there do seem to be enough of us to warrant discussing it and sharing some stuff about the episodes. You can find the episodes we're listening to on archive.org. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. And then again, guys, go check out the Green Hornet case files and their radio recreation of episode, was it 88 that they did? 81?
Something like that.
Something in the 80s. Their recreation of a Lost Green Hornet episode. This was back before they assigned titles to episodes. They just had them by number. But if you go listen to that, it's a small amateur production. So, local talent, the voice acting quality varies, but that's not as important as the fact that they are actively trying to preserve lost media. I think that should definitely be taken into account. I think that they could use all the encouragement you can throw at them. I want to see more. I want to help them, to be perfectly honest. Like, if I could do something to help out in preserving Green Hornet episodes for future generations, I would, again, I donate an organ to make that happen. But since I need most of my organs, and I don't think that those guys are in the market for illicit body components, that the best thing that I can do for them is to just kind of put more eyes in their direction. So again, go check them out, go listen to the episode, let them know that you're interested in hearing more of these recreations. Demonstrate to Green Hornet Inc., because this was done with their blessing, that there is a market for having these radio episodes revived. And let's see if we can make some magic happen. Thanks everybody one more time for tuning in. This is Mage Leader, signing off.